It's a very, very good question. I'm writing a piece now for one of the networks, actually, one of the financial networks, about how desperately we need to repeal the legal tender laws. I hold no hopes that we will, but it would help us during a period of conversion and soften the blow from the currency crisis that's headed our way. So I don't think that anything like that will happen.
Well, we used to say years ago on this program, just wait till all of this, the chickens come home to roost, and what happened to South America, to Bolivia, or to Brazil or Argentina starts happening here, and then the people will really be more interested in all of this. They'll really start understanding, as Henry Ford said, if the people knew how the financial system worked, there'd be a revolution by morning. And here I am, waiting for that to happen, but kind of like election fraud and some of these more complicated issues, and people, man, they're just having a hard time hearing it.
Well, that gives me a good point of departure to tell you how I've structured this book, because I think that you have opened the door to what I believe to be the most important part of the dollar meltdown. I wrote this book in 4 parts. First of all, where we are, to give everybody a very clear idea about where America is today, what the real debt is versus the represented debt, what the bailouts and the bankers have done, how they've lit a fuse on this powder keg of debt. So where we are today, I spend some time on the historical precedents, how we got here, the cases of successful monies and successful nations and cultures based on sound money, how a sound money contributes to the flourishing of commerce and the division of labor that allows a culture or a nation to thrive. And then the part 3 of the book is what happens next, how this currency crisis is liable to unfold, the sorts of things that typically happen. And the 4th section of the book is what to do about it. And I'll tell you, Jack, honestly, every program that I've been on, everybody wants to cut immediately to part 4, what to do about it. But I think that the most important part of this book is part 3, what happens next, how this thing unfolds. And the reason I've kicked off on this is because of your suggestion that during the middle of a crisis, maybe the public will awaken, will have some sort of a sound monetary revolution. My suspicion is maybe we will, and certainly some people will awaken. Some people will know going into it. Some people already know. But I will tell you, I have outlined very carefully, not knowing the day and the hour of specific individual events, I've tried to outline for the reader the things that the governing classes will do when confronted with all of these problems of their own making, the things that they do to try to enchant the American people into believing someone else is to blame, the kind of things that they do to distract and divert our attention from what they have done, to find scapegoats and fall guys, to find ways to cover up their malperformance, their malfeasance, by even creating further malfeasance. And that, to me, is really the most important part of the book, because it arms the reader to understand, no matter what happens, to understand financial events as they unfold, whether they're on Schedule A, Schedule B, or Schedule C.
Yeah, and we can teach people to just quit relying on the government statistics for what's going on in the world. I want to say that this book is written in a way that's very simple for people to understand. You don't have to be an economic expert like Charles, or have read as many books as I have on the subject to understand exactly what's happening. America's debt is a powder keg about to blow. The fuse was lit by the rush of the bailouts and the stimulus spending. But it's even bigger than that, and it has global implications. Ron Paul says the book is truly a must-read, and for those out there that want to survive this and maybe even benefit from it, because that's a possibility, you got to get this book, The Dollar Meltdown. I recommend this and When Central Banks Rule the World by Joan Vion, 21st Century Feudalism, and I think people can understand it. So if we start getting your book out and this video out, and more people understand what you and I know, Charles, I think we can have that revolution by morning.
Well, maybe we can. Hope springs eternal.
What are you doing next? Where can we see you next, and where can people go out? Maybe you're going to be speaking, or you're going to be doing some media. Give us some plugs.
I have actually a pretty crowded schedule, for which I'm very, very grateful. I'm grateful for the reception that I've gotten. people, Jack, when you tell people sense already that there is sort of a tectonic plate shift movement going on about the economy, about the monetary system and more, and they're very concerned and they're very eager to hear more about this sort of thing. So I have a lot of activities going on, scheduled. I get to speak at the Freedom Summit with Congressman Ron Paul and others in early December. All of those dates are on the webpage, thedollarmeltdown.com. There's an appearances link there, thedollarmeltdown.com, and then you just click on appearances. You can actually purchase the book online from any of your favorite book dealers, from Barnes & Noble and Amazon and Borders, right there online at thedollarmeltdown.com, or it should be in your favorite bookstore. They move pretty slowly, but it's been delivered now to most of the major bookstores across the country, and it's actually doing really well.
Well, let's get it in bravenewbookstore.com. I always recommend that for my listeners.
Good.
And I'm looking at your appearances. I don't see you coming to Austin, Texas. Maybe we can work with your people and make that happen, Charles.
I'd be very happy to do that.
We'd love to have you. Before I let you go, the Ron Paul audit the Fed bill, what can that do and what chances does it have? Are we going in the right direction with that?
Well, I mean, it's like it's like an old joke about what do you call a carload of central bankers that goes over a cliff? It's a good start. I mean, an audit the Fed is a good start, but I mean, I won't be satisfied until the Fed is actually eliminated, until central banking is eliminated from this country. You've got to, the great economist Ludwig von Mises said, money independent of the government. Money independent of the government is as much a guarantee of liberty. It should be thought of in a class like constitutions and bills of rights, because otherwise they will exploit the monetary system to the advantage of the governing classes and to the detriment of the people.
Well, it's important that people know it, and you've written this book on it. I was looking at Drudge a couple of weeks ago. Kiss the Dollar Goodbye was the big headline. It's just like when we try to tell people, Charles, about, global centralized government, the global dictatorship, it's not that we have to prove that that's happening. It's happening. It's whether you think it's good or bad. So we have to get out there and tell people why the failing of the dollar is bad, why having this currency system is bad. It's not that it is happening and we're conspiracy theorists. It is happening. We can prove it. Is it good or bad? And we need to get out there and help control that debate. Charles Goyette, great to have you on the show, thedollarmeltdown.com. I look forward to seeing you real soon. Thanks.
Jack, I appreciate you very much. Thanks.
Folks, we'll be right back after this. Deadline Live, AmericanFreedomRadio.com.
If you believe in redemption, I'm calling to you from another dimension.